Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Conversations Worth Having with Kai and Tara. And today we're going to be talking about something very important. And our topic will be the feeling of needing permission from other people to leave the room. And for much of my own life, I felt that I needed permission, not necessarily literal permission, but emotional permission to leave a room, leave a
You should
conversation.
probably explain what you mean by this because the title itself doesn't exactly paint the right picture.
Yes. For me, it has always been where most of my life, if I've been in a room full of people, um, I felt like I cannot leave until everybody is comfortable in the room, or when I've been given permission from my spouse or my friend to leave the room. Um, I've always been more concerned about how other people feel or what they think rather than putting myself first. And thanks to a lot of therapy and getting closer to 40, I finally will not ask for permission. I will give myself permission. So I want to ask Tara that why do some people feel responsible for the emotional atmosphere in a room? And I would say specifically women.
Usually that's societal, your family culture. It's rude. There's cultural beliefs. It's rude. You don't leave with guests, all that kind of stuff. There's lots of different reasons why people do it. Sometimes it's feeling like you're responsible for the temperature of a room can be related to trauma or survival kind of skills that you developed growing up because it saves you. It saves you from being noticed. It saves you from getting in trouble, all those kind of things if you're behaving the way most of the room expects. But then you're left feeling often uncomfortable, like you don't fit, sometimes you're tolerating abuse by hanging around. But I think some of what you're talking about is the permission that we don't have to always be polite. And it's not necessarily rude to just be like, I'm going to head out. This is not serving me. This is not something I want to engage in or around. And there can be
I
lots of reasons why you should leave a room, but only you can decide
agree.
whether or not you're going to.
I think for me, it has been like, for example, being invited to a birthday party or a get together with maybe, people that are not super close with me. And then it's either, um, for me, what makes me very uncomfortable is doubting my either spirituality or I don't want to call it religion, but I do believe in God. So for me, that when somebody who really doesn't know me starts either mocking God or just has a very, I don't even know, there's a lot of hate in how they're speaking about religion or belief system. For me, instantly, I get this like almost burning feeling in my stomach, and I know that my body is telling me to run away from this person.
Okay.
But sometimes I care about the person, let's say, who invited me into that situation, and I don't want to run away yet because I don't want to make that person feel upset, even though they have invited me into a situation I never wanted to be involved in to begin with.
Right.
And thanks to Tara and therapy for many, many years. I apologize, guys. I said I'm not gonna curse, and I promise I'm not gonna curse very often, but I don't give a shit how you feel because how I feel matters too. And if you act like a disrespectful buffoon, I don't want to be around you. So how can
Nor should people
someone?
have to be around it.
But I thought that I had to be around it until now, until
So
literally.
what why did you think you had to stay around it? Because that's different. Like we don't know what everybody else is gonna think and feel on that one. Why did you feel you couldn't leave?
I think it's everything you just it's everything that you just mentioned. I want to blend in. I don't want to be labeled as difficult. I don't want people to be like, "Oh, look at that foreigner." Like not only is she foreigner, but now like she gives herself the permission to just leave. People are nasty. Like people will tell you that they're going to be blunt with you in your face, but when you actually call them out or tell them, okay, go ahead, tell me what you feel, tell me how you talk to me truthfully.
Yeah.
I see very much cowardly behaviors. People are very tough on social media, but I've always in the past felt like I had to go because I either don't want to disappoint my spouse or I don't want to disappoint my best friend. I have to hang around with this person because that person who I really care about may like that person who I have no interest in being in the same room with.
Okay.
And I didn't want to blend in. I don't want to shake, I don't want to rock the boat. And I finally am leaving the room.
How does it feel? So like you get to get up and leave the room is because I would imagine it's uncomfortable the first few times, and then you get better at it.
Yeah, I got better at it about 2 weeks ago. Honestly, I felt like I was in some kind of Matrix movie or some kind of action movie, and I'm just dropping the bomb. Everything behind me is just blowing up, and I keep on walking.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's like taking back the power that was always mine, and I just
Yeah.
willingly gave it to people because
Yeah.
I cared too much about what other people think.
Yeah.
It's the weight of being responsible for everyone that I felt that I needed to carry. For most of my life, I've been like, is everyone okay? Is anyone uncomfortable? Is anyone feeling left out? Is anyone
Yeah.
upset with me? Is everyone having a good time? That was a big one for me. Like when doing parties at our house, or I'm like, are you good? Are you good? And one of the podcasts that we did together was, what if you treated everyone like they were your teacher? And I've been applying that, implying it, like so heavily. And one of my very good friends, she said, and I quote, she said that this last Saturday, she said, "I don't need to be entertained."
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, you don't. You're an adult female, almost the same age as me, and I'm here
Yeah.
thinking that I need to make you feel comfortable, happy, loved, welcomed,
Right.
fed. And I'm like, I started applying the podcast we did, which was if we treated everyone like our teacher, could envy really exist? And I took what she said and I just munched on it. I'm like, nom, 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 nom,
Yeah.
nom, nom, nom. You do not need to be entertained. Yay! It's
Well, you know what?
awesome.
I mean, what she's saying, like, I don't need you to entertain me. I'm capable of entertaining myself. Thank you.
Yes,
It's
she
almost
meant it like
insulting to
that.
feel like to think that someone has to babysit you. I mean, why would we want that?
Yeah.
No one would want that.
And
So,
I can't thank Tara enough because I mean it's this has not this I don't know if maybe this is not like brand new information to other people. Maybe people who are not high empaths or don't go through life as a high empath with like ADHD and whatever labels you want to put on people, which I probably have ADHD, but it is what it is. I think all of us have a little bit of it because of technology. But well, I just had it because I just forgot what I was about to say. But like 39 and a half years or longer, almost 40 years. Um, the problem for me was that while I was monitoring everyone else, I wasn't paying attention to myself.
right.
I never was asking myself, well, am I comfortable? Do I
Correct.
want to be here? Am I tired? Do I need a break? What do
Right.
I actually need right now? Never, never.
Correct. And I think we also need to point out like it's uncomfortable to first do this. It's uncomfortable to first not respond to the 3 paragraph long text. It's uncomfortable to exit a situation. It's uncomfortable not to say, "Are you okay? How are you feeling?" If that's been your habit, it's going to be uncomfortable to make that change. So it's a matter of just saying, "Okay," but I think the what it will happen is worth it. The idea that I'm allowed to take up space and I'm allowed to make myself comfortable too in this situation is powerful. And you want to make sure that, like, yeah, but it's not easy, but it is
No,
powerful.
it's not. It's not easy, but I definitely can tell from personal experience over the last like few months and over the last few weeks specifically that it is so worth it because I don't think my marriage has ever been happier because we just are like we're gonna put our own family first. it's okay. It's okay if you're upset about it.
Yeah.
It's okay for you to make the choices that you want to make or whatever you got going on. And this has empowered me to make another podcast because I know I will be dealing with this one day as our kids grow older.
Yeah.
Um, and another podcast I want to definitely do with you, Tara, is going to be called It's Really My Problem. And I can't wait to write that one. But right now, as we're talking about leaving the room that you're uncomfortable in, for me, the
Yeah.
guilt was so powerful that I couldn't leave the room. If I left early, I always felt guilty. If I set a boundary, I felt guilty. If someone was disappointed, I felt guilty. Sometimes I felt guilty simply for having my own needs
Right.
because I was like,
Which is wild because all of us have needs.
I know, but I had
I
no
feel.
idea that I get to like give myself the permission to actually tend to my own needs. It's like brand new for me, and I'm almost 40 years old.
So, is there anything else you wanted to cover with this topic? Because you always write such beautiful, long
Well,
feedback things.
I want to have to ask a question from a professional therapist who's been doing this for 21 years. And like I know we kind of talked about maybe it's like you know your background, but where does this guilt come from? Like, is it really engraved in us? Like
Some
as
of it
a
is. Most of it is. I would say you have to keep in mind too. It is unsafe in some situations for women to just do what they want. We know for a fact women get attacked for not making somebody else feel comfortable, not paying attention, not giving their phone number, take your pick. So
Mhm.
it's often unsafe. Women know it's unsafe for me not to scan the room and make sure everybody's safe and comfortable. Make sure that this man talking to me feels more comfortable than I feel. That's
Mhm.
actually for our safety. Like, I think it's important we acknowledge that. Is that changing? I hope so. I hope that's changing in this world. But I don't think it's changing fast enough that in a stranger danger type situation, I'm going to probably still try to make sure that I'm leaving in the safest, quietest way possible and not necessarily like, I have every right to do this. Different religions or in different social settings, like if it's a work thing, you might feel like you have to stay. You got to laugh at the boss's jokes. You got to do the thing.
Yeah.
You can't just leave. And that translates to other parts of our life. It's not easy to shut off one version of ourselves to do it other places. So, I mean, in the military, you have to behave a certain way. You can't leave just because the general's a jerk, isn't handling
Oh my
the calls
gosh.
well.
It was not easy for me as a military spouse, so I really had to make sure that I don't make awkward eye contact when I had this beautiful promotion ceremonies for my husband because I just wanted to tell the general to just pick the booger off their nose. And I had to be like, no, Kai, you're an adult. You can't tell them that. But I had to have this conversation with my brain. But
Yes.
I also want to circle back on what we're talking about with the safety is I've literally heard grown man say this, Tara, and I don't know, maybe other females have heard this too. Grown man who, by the way, have daughters themselves. If the skirt is too short, she deserves to be raped.
I mean, that has gone around. Yes. I hope that's changing. But
I like literally, I've heard that less than 10 years ago.
yes. So the hope is
So,
that that's changing, but that is something that was going on. And I mean, there's also powerful messages out there. It's a traveling, I don't want to say museum, but it's a traveling like art exhibit. And it's all the different clothes that women were wearing when they were sexually assaulted. And it includes a nun's habit and it includes like small children's clothes. Like, this is not about that, but people will make it about that. And we try. And I will say, too, anytime we're trying to keep ourselves safe, and this one goes to you too,
mhm,
we're trying to control the uncontrollable. We don't control everything in our environment, but
yeah.
we'd like to think we could because that makes us feel safe in the moment to think we could.
Yeah. But like, let's say it's an environment. Again, I want to circle back to where you're invited somewhere where you didn't want to go to begin with because you're
Yeah.
trying to make the person you love, it can be a friend or a spouse and their friends or whatever
Yep.
it is, and you want to make that person feel loved while kind of stripping away with your own needs. And you had that compass in your soul that said, don't go to this situation because you will be exposed to other people you may or may not want to be around
Yeah.
with. And you did it anyway because you are more worried about the needs and feelings of other people than yourself. I will tell to all the listeners because we have like 78 downloads on like Spotify,
Ooh.
Tara. Like, holy moly. No, I know. Um, I would say listen to that compass and like literally like I can't say the F word. I don't want to curse, but F like F You are worth your own safety. If
Yeah.
something is telling you don't go to this XYZ party, I have this friend and I mentioned her before. Her name is Monica. She's like we become very, very close. I feel so safe and so good around her because she's
Mhm.
had certain experiences in her life where uh it has completely changed her. And I think people who have had these kind of events, or different experience happen with them, they appreciate life so much more and they never want to invite people who are high empaths into situations that they know that empath might have struggled in the past. Like to me,
Yeah.
that's like, I don't know. I don't know. But I want to ask you, Tara, can guilt become a habit rather than a
Oh, yes.
signal? It,
It
it
can become
can.
part of your identity. It can become something that you're so used to, you don't even remember why you first started doing that. And to have someone say you can just do it differently, it doesn't strike you as a choice. This is just what I do. What are you talking about? So yes, we can definitely get into that position. And it takes slowing down and like what you said, actually considering and asking myself, is this something I wanted to do? Is this somewhere I feel comfortable, accepted, everything else? I don't know if you had this growing up, but like I was told you had to hug relatives growing up, even if you didn't necessarily want to.
Yes, I
And I would
have
say
this.
I have noticed a change in it. I did not make my child hug people if she didn't want to, or
Yes,
go sit on their lap or do other strange
yes,
things like that. That I think when
yes,
we were growing up, you're just told to. Now, I don't know why that happened. I don't know why the 80s and the early 90s were such a time of just do it. I have no idea.
yeah,
But I also knew as a child, I didn't feel I had much of a choice.
same. I have this
So,
particular uncle. Every time he came over, he liked to like put me under his armpit, like kind of hug me really tight. And I have several pictures where I can tell from my child face, like I was maybe like 10, between the ages of 10 to 12, I can tell that I did not want to be hugged. Like I can
yeah,
tell that I was so uncomfortable, and for the longest time, up until probably in my early 30s, and I'm still struggling with that at times, I didn't even realize that I belonged to me.
yeah,
I thought my body was like this, the box of candy where it's just like, oh, you want a piece of that? Okay, why don't you have a piece of that? I wasn't sure that like I belong to me. No is a full sentence.
yep,
Keep walking. I can wear what I want to wear, and you don't get to touch me because I'm wearing like
right,
tight, tight jeans or whatever it is, unless you're my spouse. And even then, I'm like, hey, did you ask that I want to
yeah.
touch? I don't belong. It's weird.
Well, and also keep in mind too, like sometimes you were not necessarily nothing inappropriate necessarily happened to you as a kid, but if you were raised by somebody who experienced that, boundaries are skewed, lines are blurred. It's a very confusing situation to find yourself in. So when you say why do people do that, that's why. Why do we change it? We change it because we know we need to. That's not the way anybody should be moving in this world, but people are.
Um, we one of the things that one of the many things that I realized with these boundaries and treating people like they're my teacher is that I often, and I still struggle with that, but much less, but I often felt like if other people aren't okay, I can't be okay. And that was a very heavy responsibility to carry for
Yeah,
me, because people have bad days and people feel disappointed and they have their own disappointments. And I would think that I would internalize those whatever disappointments they had in their life. And I'd be like, my brain goes to, well, you're the disappointment.
right.
That's why nobody in the room is okay. Like I would
Right.
blame myself, which is ridiculous because how in the world could I take responsibility for like 15, 20 people who I may or may not know,
Correct.
on a personal level, and I'm like, wow, I'm responsible for the fact that you're cranky. Like why does my brain do that, Tara? Like help us understand why do brains do that?
Well, again, you have a history of trauma and other things that went on. So that's partly why your brain does that. Anxiety has our brain do that. But it's also a matter of what do you want to do to break that? What's allowed, what's the reward for not doing it? Because currently there's also a reward for doing it. You're liked, you're invited places, people treat you a different kind of way. I mean, there are rewards for behaving the way other people want. It gives you a sense of acceptance and everything else. So the end being difficult, are you going to get invited? Are you going to get,
No,
asked your
1000%
opinion?
not. If I'm labeled problematic and difficult, and around me there may be addiction or alcoholism, with people who are actually unable to work out their own issues or unwilling to work out their own issues, why would I ever be invited to like a get together again if I'm labeled difficult?
Well, correct. So, I mean, when you say why do we do it, that's why. So it's also a matter of what's the payoff then for not doing it? Because currently the payoff for doing it is still pretty high.
Yeah, but
So what
I
helps
think
you feel like you can do, you're your own person and you can do what you want with yourself?
I think putting an ocean between a lot of problematic individuals
Some of
will
us
help.
can't do that. We don't have dual
Some of us can do
citizenship.
that, right? But I think definitely setting boundaries. And I'm starting to get less and less interest. Oh, we only have like a minute or so left, but I'm starting to get less interested in managing everyone else's experience.
Good.
And it's not because I care less. Actually, I think I care in a healthier way. And I'm starting to understand that my worth isn't determined by how comfortable everyone else feels around me.
Good.
And I can't stop smiling, Tara. Like I'm telling you, Tara has done so much work on my brain, you guys.
Kai
I
has done so much work for herself, you guys.
I'm always like, help me, fix me. So I want to leave the listener with some of these things that have helped me. And one of them is definitely not everyone has to like me, so not everyone has to like you. Not
Yep.
everyone has to agree with me, or not everyone has to agree with you. Not everyone has to be happy with my choices. That's a huge one.
It's impossible to make everybody happy. No, not everyone is going to ever like you and love everything that you're doing. That's an impossible goal.
And I don't have to earn my right to take up space. That's a
There you
big
go.
one. That's a huge one. And I can't
Huge.
stop smiling since I put boundaries on things. I've had several people texting just now in this podcast, and I'm like, I'll get to you soon enough. Because I'm doing a podcast and I'm not going to look at my phone now. But everybody listening, please subscribe to our YouTube and share our YouTube and reach out to Tara for
If
your
you
life
want to, yeah.
coaching. Yes. And
Yes.
we are so grateful for here that you're here. Tara, do you have any last words for the amazing listeners?
I mean, everybody has value. We either all matter or nobody matters. So take up space and live your life and understand it's impossible to please everybody.
Did you hear that? It's impossible to please everybody. Thank
Yeah.
you. I don't have to earn my right to take up space, and nor do you. Thank
Nope.
you so much, everyone. This is Conversations Worth Having with Kai and Tara. See you next time. Bye.